All right, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today. We are here talking about different funding options, whether grants, microloans, and it does have a bit of a for-profit tinge. We do cover some of the nonprofit grants as well, and we do have some like writing groups coming up. So if you're interested in those, we will touch on them. One is actually coming up on, oh my gosh, Saturday. So if you're available Saturday, that's for the Youth Opportunities Fund. And if you're interested, if you do a service-based business, Jobber, we're doing a writing group about that one next week. But let me just share my screen so we can get started. All right. And if you'd like to put your name into the chat and your organization, just so we know who is with us, we can definitely follow along. And I will start this presentation. Okay, so hopefully my computer ramps up and it doesn't stay this slow, but feels like it's struggling. But as I mentioned, we're here talking about funding and grant opportunities. We do these sessions once a month just to renew what's out there and offer our services so that if you do need help, you know that we are here to support. And a little bit about it, just I guess Zoom etiquette. You can turn on your camera if you like. Usually, when you're asking questions, if you want to turn on your camera, that works. But do change your name if it, just in case it says Zoom user or iPhone or Samsung. That way, we just know when you ask a question, I can call your name. If you do have questions as we're going, feel free to raise your hand. And of course, use the chat. You can ask any question might be better just as I'm going through the presentation. If there's a question you have, you can put it into the chat and I'll make sure to get to it. But if it is a burning question about something specific that I'm talking about, feel free to raise your hand or unmute because as I'm going, I might not see the hand, but we do have support in the chat. Shristi, our wonderful colleague, is here so that if a hand is raised, she'll be able to see it. And just before we get started, we always love make sure that we acknowledge the first peoples of the traditional land. So I would like to begin by acknowledging the indigenous peoples of all the lands that we are on today. While we meet today on a virtual platform, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the lands which we each call home. We do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relationships between nations and to improving our own understanding of local indigenous peoples and their cultures. From coast to coast to coast, we acknowledge the ancestral and unceded territory of all the Inuit, Métis, and First Nations people that call this land home. Please join me in a moment of reflection to acknowledge the effect of residential schools and colonialism of on Indigenous families and communities, and to consider how we are and can each, in our own way, try to move forward in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. Right. Thank you for that. So a bit about Empowered for X, and you'll notice that I'm here representing as we've partnered with Empowered for X to make sure and get this information to you. So Empowered for X is a collaborative community that offers consulting, training, and business support and is a physical co-working space in Brampton. And we do have satellite locations in Ottawa. We're working on one in Whitby and in Hamilton. So if you need a virtual office, an address, definitely touch base with us. Make sure to go to our website, empowered, the number four, the letter X.com, empoweredforx.com, as we are committed to support you as entrepreneurs to be top performing leaders and exponentially amplify the difference that you make. And some of the trainings that we do offer is the social enterprise certification program. We have a mental health standard certification, a mental health supporting youth certification, and we're going to be talking more about Grant Hunter University, which helps you prepare and create your own blueprint for any grants that you're going to be going for in the future. We try to do the heavy lifting upfront, and it's our online course that'll walk you through it. Just in case you're not able to bring us on to do everything for you, there's a way to still get this done. And as I mentioned, with Empowered Forex, we do have virtual offices. I mentioned Brampton, the Scarborough, Ottawa. We offer consulting services, so we can help you with your marketing and sales, help you with your grant writing, help you with technology builds and websites, a bit of operations and management, and of course, putting together business plans to help you obtain additional funding, typically through loans. And we also have a promotional live show called BizGrams that our founder, Chris Cowie, runs. So if you are interested in telling your story, definitely reach out to us to see what the next open slot is. And we'll get you interviewed. Well, it's more of a conversation, but we'd love to have you part of that. This is the spectrum of the support that Empowered Forex offers. So we start with DIY, so doing it yourself. We do these free info sessions. If you're able to get the information and go action it, we consider that a success. If you do need a bit more guidance, we have Grant Hunter University, which is an online course that you can go through all the steps of writing a strong grant application, how to research and find what grants are out there. We're going to touch on some of the tactics today, especially about how to find grants, which ones are out there. But if you want help to put together that blueprint, we would love for you to join Grant Hunter University. And it's only $297, so definitely cheaper than hiring a full-blown grant writer, and you'll still get access to our expertise. We try to put as much as that expertise and intellectual property into the course so that you have access to it. In the middle, a bit more working with us if you want to get a funding summary, so we research and find the specific grants that you qualify for. If you want us to help you write that blueprint that we were talking about that you can get done in the course, we add that service. If you want us to review any grants, we can definitely find the grant that you're working on. We can review it for you. And we also have paid working groups. So if we do find a grant that we want to work on as a group, we're able to come together. We have sessions. We've done it for different grants that the applications are due, but a lot of times we get stuck working on it on our own. So we're able to work together, going through each question to make sure we at least get a framework done, and then we get those submitted. And then modified, so making others do it for you, which is really making us do it for you. So it might be modified. So making us do it where we can take this off your plate, become your fund development team, help you with your grant writing, possibly marketing, any aspects of your business that really you don't have the time to execute, but you want it done at a high quality. You can work with our team to help you get those things done. So that service is also available to you. And these are things that we'll send in a follow-up email to let you know about the services. But we will touch on it briefly as we go through today. And as I mentioned, we do have some working groups coming up. So one is the Youth Opportunities Fund, which will be on Saturday the 13th at 6:30 p.m. And then the Jobber Home Service Grant. So if you have a business or you know somebody that is in the service business where they go to people's homes and offer service, that grant is for $10,000, and we're doing the working group on April the 22nd, which is Monday, not this Monday, the following Monday at 6:30 in the evening as well. All right, and we always love to make mention of our partners and people that have supported us as we've been growing. Definitely Alterna Savings, who's been a supporter from the beginning, SETC, the social economy through social inclusion, supporting us with making sure we're bridged to funding that's coming through the government, especially the social finance funding. Sheridan and their EDGE program, the Entrepreneurship Discovery and Growth Engine, who's going to be opening another one of their cohorts to support entrepreneurs like yourself. So definitely stay tuned and we'll share that. The Toronto Community Benefits Network, again, supporters from the very beginning. Shout out to Rosemary Powell and her team. Love the work that they're doing, making sure that community benefits agreements are signed with these large projects so that us in the community and social enterprises get access to working on these big contracts, sometimes multi-billion-dollar contracts. ZSC, which is our business advisory partner, and Calabash, which is a cooperative of expert service providers. So as you're getting funding, if you need to spend that funding on consultants to work on specific areas of your business or your organization, Calabash is a great resource. They have a vendor list of solid, high quality expert service providers that you can use to hire and help your business. Again, Dream Legacy Foundation, who focuses more on Black tech founders with their Black Innovation Fellowship. They have BKR Capital, which is a VC firm. So if you need investment dollars, you can go through their Innovation Fellowship and then get access to their funding. And they're also the leading organization for the Black Entrepreneurship Knowledge Hub. So that organization focusing on data and research with the Black entrepreneurship ecosystem. So more research and reports are going to be coming out about Black entrepreneurs, the journey of Black entrepreneurs. And One Full Circle, I call them our mirror image in Quebec. So shout out to the team, Pharaoh and his team with One Full Circle. If you do know people in Quebec, specifically Montreal, they're a great resource to, one, be part of their network, and two, get support for your business as well. All right, so quick agenda. You're going to meet the facilitator, which is myself. We're going to do an overview of grants and different loans that are available and let you know exactly how we can help with getting access to things. Anytime you feel stuck, we want to let you know that we are here to make sure that you get unstuck. So to introduce myself, my name is Ryan Knight. I do consider myself a serial social entrepreneur. I run a social enterprise called Detailing Nights, which is a mobile waterless car cleaning company. And we also have a youth entrepreneurship program, which we're going to be recruiting for soon because the summer season is coming up. So if you know anybody that has teenagers or young adults that need a job, please send them my way. I want to teach them that they can actually become entrepreneurs and not just employees. Service Kingdom, which is my consultancy firm that works with nonprofits trying to start social enterprises or for-profit companies trying to operate as a social enterprise. And Executives Power Up, which is I'll say our consultancy firm that helps businesses become investment ready. So typically they need a strong C-level suite of team members. So we help to place those team members, whether it's a CEO, a CTO, a CMO, all those C-level CFOs. So we help to place those teams in companies so that they're more investable and can scale their companies up. And Black Panther's Cage. So think of Dragon's Den or Shark Tank, but with Black founders pitching to Black investors. So that's a project that we're currently working on. And I am one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network, and I'll touch on that in just a sec. And I'm also part of the Empowered for X business crew. So really, we exist to help businesses like yourself, organizational leaders, to fine-tune their operations so that you can create an asset that will grow and generate generational wealth. So a little bit about ACBN, which is the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. We started just over 6 years ago, and it really started because there was a gap that I was seeing as an entrepreneur myself, running Detailing Nights and looking to franchise and expand across Canada and into the US. There weren't a lot of Black-focused business organizations that I could turn to be able to help scale up the company. So we brought 6 other entrepreneurs together, said, could we create this entity that would sit down with an entrepreneur, figure out what stage that they're in, and then help them create a strategy to grow their companies exponentially. And thus, ACBN Canada was born. And over these past 6 years, we've engaged with over 5,000 Black entrepreneurs. We're seeing a large percentage of them are female entrepreneurs, and about 90% are the actual business founders and the CEOs. But what we're most proud of is being able to now be part of a Black entrepreneurship ecosystem. So there's over 40 plus Black focused business organizations across Canada. So no matter what region of Canada you're in or what stage your business is in, we're able to connect you to the right resources that you would need so that, again, you don't feel stuck and there's always a next step forward that we can connect you to. Some of the pillars that I would say ACBN stands on, of course, entrepreneurship, I would say, is our rock foundation. I believe everybody should experience entrepreneurship, especially if you're young. It's a great time to test out if entrepreneurship is for you. There's even grants that will help you start a business in the summer. And if you even have a career or if you're older, having a side hustle or additional income coming into the household, that can help you build generational wealth. And a lot of times they say you can't leave your job to your children, but you can leave a business. So we love to introduce entrepreneurship to anybody, no matter what stage of their career they're in. And of course, we believe entrepreneurship is one of the key tools that we can use for economic empowerment. And that's why we do this convening, whether it's in person at our networking events or our symposium or our conference, and also online, really a way to share notes. So everything that we find that we want to share, we're able to do that through convening. So it's really important. But the main reason that we're here, especially today, is about access to funding. And for us, we were able to create our own microloan program in partnership with Alterna Savings. But these info sessions is really about understanding all the different types of funding that's out there so that one, you don't miss it. And two, we're able to position ourselves in front of this flow of money that seems to be going just all around us. So I'd like to put up this slide just to give you an idea of the types of grants that we've been able to get for our organization. And they range from pitch competitions, grants from the city, grants from the province, federal grants, also corporation donations and sponsorships. And again, as low as $500 all the way up to over $1 million. And I really like to show this because anything and everything that we qualify for, we try to apply for it. And that's where the grant world is not cut and dry. It's difficult. It does take a lot of persistency and consistency. And I do not consider myself an academic grant writer, but I do consider myself a grant hunter. That's why we created Grant Hunter University, because being on the hunt and looking for what resources are out there and making sure that you get those applications in, it results in this type of success. You don't have to be a perfect grant writer, but you do need to know what grants and what funding is out there so that you can, at minimum, get your application in. And even though not all of them are going to be successful, we miss all the ones that we don't apply for. So that's why we're here, to make sure that we get you across the finish line so that those applications get in. And also, I really take more pride in helping others get access to funding, whether it's nonprofits like Rescue Youth International or New Life Project that didn't have the time to be doing the research and writing grants themselves. We were able to work alongside them and get them access to funding. Or a for-profit company like Custodia, who didn't realize that they're running a social enterprise and qualified for the investment readiness program, and they were able to unlock $100,000 as a grant for their business. So this is where making sure that you know what's available, and that's really what this info session is about, but also can work alongside you to make sure it gets in. And then also getting creative. So knowing that maybe you don't on the surface qualify for the grant or to hit the criteria, but you're able to partner and work with organizations like ourselves, like the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. So something like the Seventh Adventist Church was able to work with us as we were the trustee so that they could unlock 325,000, or Youth Village, where they were able to work with us and be part of our application so that we were able to then apply, add them as a partner, and they were able to get funding to help launch their nonprofit instead of doing it from scratch. So never discount funding that you see. Always think of ways to get creative, and that's where touch base with us. If you see something that maybe your business can execute and be a line item, you should join other grants that are going in so that you can help them execute. But aside from that, The ways that we help people get prepared, one, of course, is the business plan blueprint. That'll be a different session where we help people structure their business plan so that they can get access to funding. And being in charge of our microloan and working with other loan providers, we have access to millions of dollars. So we want to make sure that you're doing your business plan right so that when you submit it, it's successful. But the grant writing blueprint, that's something that we walk through with the Grant Hunter University. So if you do need support with putting together like those questions that I would say 80% of grants ask, we do that up front and help you get those questions answered so that any grant that you find, you're able to not, you don't have to start from scratch pretty much. And the reason that we realized it's really important was when I started writing grants and I was running detailing nights, and this was back in 2015, 2016. And every time I would apply, we would get declined. Even though we had this youth entrepreneurship program, we'd already been operating and running it. But as a for profit, it was difficult to get grants. What we had to do was actually partner with a nonprofit, pull out the curriculum that we were teaching. So it wasn't the full business trying to get the grant anymore. It was a specific segment that aligned with the funder, and this was the Youth Opportunities Fund at the time, and we were able to get 210,000 to run the curriculum and partner with a nonprofit to teach that entrepreneurship piece. So this is where, when I talk about getting creative, you might see a grant that you could execute, but you need partnerships and collaborations in order to unlock it. So those are things that we always brainstorm different ways to approach different grants. One grant that I did want to walk us through. So now I'm going to be giving an overview of different ways to find grants. I'm going to share with you certain grants that are available and also the spreadsheet, the funding options for a small business spreadsheet that we created so that you can get an idea of what grants are out there and how to approach finding them. So the Business Benefits Finder, and let me grab this link so that I can put it into the chat as well. Actually, before I paste it, I want to make sure that it comes up properly because I think the link was broken before. Oh, okay, it's here. All right. So this website, the Business Benefits Finder, and if you don't get the link, you can just Google search Business Benefits Finders and you'd be able to see what you qualify for. So now it's really a plug and play. So you would just be able to answer any of the questions that are in these fill in the blanks. So let's say we're looking for grants. And then if we go through, let's say up to 250,000, and our main goal is to grow and expand your business and to hire. Oh, like that. Yep. All right. And then you're going to tell them about your company. So let's say you're in Ontario, South Ontario, and we focus on education. Did I miss education? Yep. And then education. And you'll see it starts to narrow down what types of opportunities and fundings that there is. And then let's see. So let's say we have 4 employees. Our revenues just over 500,000. We are incorporated. We're a nonprofit. And in our team, we have Canadians, Black Canadians, women, LGBTQ, newcomers, and youth. All right. And then you can say to show just programs that are currently accepting, or you can show all programs. I like to show all programs just because this way you can see things that you might have missed, but if they, on a rolling basis, they open up a few times a year, you'd be able to keep ahead of it so that you'd be able to see it. All right. So it's going to show the results shortly. Just give me one sec. All right. So for grants and funding, you'll see you can click more and be able to check which types of grants the government currently has. So they have some hiring grants, they have grants to cover employee training, which I really like the employee training one, the Canada Ontario Job Grant, because employees that you're either looking to hire or that you already have on your team, you can actually send them to get trained on specific skills. And that can be up to $10,000 per employee. And you're able to get a grant to reimburse you for that training. So this one really helps. It really helps us with hiring because before they're hired, they can go through the training. That way, when they get hired, they hit the ground running and have better return on investment for the cost that they're gonna incur by being an employee. So you don't want them to come in and then have to start from scratch or training. You can actually do the training ahead of time. Let's see. So funding for organizations. So this one is more for nonprofits. Trying to see which other ones they have are for profits. If you're looking to do international development, the CAN Export Grant is really good because that one allows you to have costs covered for exploring new countries. So if you're going into the US or you're going overseas or somewhere else in the world, you can actually get a grant to have the cost covered for you going to trade shows or creating a marketing strategy or like exploring a new location. You'd be able to get funding for that. So they do show other like loan programs, they show other tax credit programs, they show other wage subsidy programs and internship. So I would definitely check out the Business Benefits Finder just to get an idea of what is out there. When you get our spreadsheet for the funding options, this spreadsheet, and I'll put it into the chat so you have it as well. But if you're here, pretty sure you should have gotten access to the spreadsheet already. There's two other programs that we like to use. One is called Happily. So if you go to happily.ai and also Hello Pocketed. So these two act similar. So I'll show you what Happily does. And I'll put this link into the chat as well so that you have it. Because when you go to Happily and you make an account, it then takes the information from your business and allows you to so and then it scrapes the internet and does, I guess, AI stuff in the background to find all the different funding and all the different grants that would match your specific business. And I believe it works for nonprofits as well. I actually have not tested it for nonprofit, but I'll give you an idea on the back end what it looks like for Happily. But I put the link into the chat. So if you go to happily.ai, so HAPPLY.ai, and create an account and answer the questions, you'd be able to see what you qualify for. So I just want to see if I can log in right now, just so you can get an idea of what the back end looks like. Usually it just logs in automatic. Success. It is working. All right. So when you log in, and so for the company I was testing is Detailing Nights Canada, you'll see it shows total potential funding and it shows grants here. There's loan programs, incubators, and competitions. So if we click on grants, let's see what grants is currently showing. So you'll see how it brings in some of the Government of Canada grants, Government of Ontario. As I was mentioning that CAN Export one, but you'll see the red rating, so it's lengthy. That grant is quite involved. So if you're going through it, it will take some time. So do be patient. and you can get $75,000 of a grant to explore new countries to export to or to do business in. So similar to the Business Benefits Finder, it'll pull in a lot of the federal grants. Let's see if it pulls in, and it pulls in like incubators. So if you're interested in Techstars, it would show you those ones that are available. Similar to Y Combinator, that's like an incubator as well. MyTax allows you to hire and get support with research and development. So that's really good if you're looking to grow or to fine tune, like commercializing your product. CMHC, that's more so for building. And so if you're looking to develop property that you own, these grants, and again, these should probably be read because I've gone through some of the CMHC processes and they're quite involved and take time. So definitely give yourself time with these ones. But the grants are large. You can get research grants, you can get development grants and loans. So it's worth it if you're willing to go through it. So Happily is definitely a great way to search through. I would make an account and then see what it pulls up. And if you find anything that you qualify for, but you feel it might be, you might get stuck or there might be a lot of work to do, that's where reaching out to us to say, hey, I found 1, 2, and 3 grants that I think I could go for, then our team would be able to work with you to get it done. So I'm going to hop back into the presentation. Just so that we can show you some of the other grants that are also available. Let me click that. All right. And as I mentioned, the spreadsheet, we're going to touch on it again shortly, but I did want to speak to some of the other grants that are out there, such as the Black Opportunity Fund, which is in partnership with the Black Chamber of Commerce. They work with CIBC as well because CIBC had a loan program, and that loan program, you can get up to $250,000 as a loan for equipment, leasehold improvements, and working capital. But that loan, if you weren't prepared with your business plan or your cash flow projections, you're able to go through a grant program that's done by the Black Chamber of Commerce. So you can get up to $2,000 as a grant as you're going through programming to get your business plan done or get your credit score repaired and also get your cash flow projections done. The BBPA BADES program is another great program that allows you to get access to services. So your business plan writing, your legal services or accounting and bookkeeping, and you don't have to come out of pocket to pay for it. So the BBPA, that BADES program, they connect you with a service provider that would do the work for you. So you see how you might need a business plan for the CIBC loan. You could go through BADES, get connected with a service provider that would then do the business plan for you, and they invoice the BBPA, so you don't have to come out of pocket to pay for it to get done. So I've seen a lot of people get support. They do have, it is oversubscribed, so it does take time. But if you fill out the application and go through the process, you'll get through eventually, and it's worth it. One thing that I had mentioned earlier was Summer Company, and Summer Company is a program for youth under 30 that are in between school. So not out of school, but have a summer break and are thinking about starting a business. This is a program that I did way back in 2012 as I was starting Detailing Nights and still going to Sheridan College, was able to get $3,000, and it helped, fine tune the idea, see if it would be something that could be viable. And I find a lot of youth in our community are missing these grants, and they possibly could be great entrepreneurs and don't realize that there's funding out there for them to test it out. So please share the word. Summer Company, I know the summer's coming up, so the deadlines for their applications might have passed. I'm hoping that it hasn't. We can actually check that later just to make sure it hasn't. But the starter company grant, this is one that is now for anybody over 18. So you don't have to be in school. and you're able to get up to $5,000 for your business. They help you fine tune your business plan, and you're able to get $5,000 to operate. So each city that has an entrepreneur center, they do these independently. So right now, I did see that the Toronto Entrepreneur Center, they launched theirs. So they actually did an info session today. So I recorded it, so I'll try and get that recording out to everybody. So if you know anybody in Toronto, please do share with them that recording so that they can apply. But check in with your city's entrepreneur center. So just to see if it's open right now or if it's going to open soon. And that way you'd be able to apply. And typically they do it every year, sometimes twice a year. So you just have to check on that one. So Digital Main Street, this was another great grant that allowed you to get a Shopify store built, like an e-commerce store built. They also had a marketing grant where you can get up to $2,500 for your marketing. I am hearing that it's paused, so we are going to see when it's going to reopen. But for right now, it's paused, but I'm keeping an eye on it because it was one of the really good grants that could help you get started and to help you sell online. So no matter what you're doing, even if you sell products or if you need to book appointments, they can help you build a website that would allow you to book appointments on your website. They also were running the Canada Digital Adoption Program. So again, you're able to get about $2,400 to help with digitizing your business and supporting it with online sales or online operations. That one was closing soon, so I would check out the Canada Digital Adoption Program as soon as you can just to make sure that it's still open. The Summer Jobs Grant is now different than Summer Company. So Summer Jobs Grant, that allows you to get access to students during the summer, and you're able to get reimbursed for their wages. So this one, again, a lot of us miss it. One, because a lot of times we don't feel ready to hire, but these are the types of programs that you're able to hire and get reimbursed. So yes, you did have to pay somebody for their wages, but the government's helping you offset that cost. So you're getting additional support and additional help with your business and being able to get some of that money back. So I would say if you need a team, it's a great way to start because you're going to get some of that money back. And My Main Street just closed. So My Main Street was a grant from the federal government done through FedDev Ontario, and it was specific to Southern Ontario, where if you had a brick and mortar business, you're able to get up to $20,000 to support buying equipment, doing leasehold improvements, improving the exterior, or helping with your marketing and upgrading your technology. So we tried to make sure as many people that we knew had brick and mortar locations got that grant in. But just before I go to the loan section, I do want to show you in the spreadsheet again. So the link to the spreadsheet is in the chat, but just how to navigate the spreadsheet, you'd be able to first check the grant portals. So make sure and sign up for those. But we try to keep this spreadsheet as up to date as possible, where we had talked about the BBPA, we talked about Shop Here, which now this one is paused. So we do have to put it into red for now. Well, put a light red because hopefully it'll come back. The Can Export one, My Main Street, again, this one is paused. So we'll update this. So Starter Company, that's open right now. So these are for Brampton and Mississauga. So definitely check with them. The Toronto one is open. And other ones, let's see, what else is here? EDC. So I always encourage people to check back on the spreadsheet maybe once a week just to see if anything that was open is back open. The spreadsheet also talks about nonprofit grants. So as we mentioned, the Youth Opportunities Fund is open right now. That is a great one, especially for people that don't have full-fledged nonprofits that are doing hundreds of thousands of dollars in operating budget. If you are unincorporated, the Youth Opportunities Fund is great. And if you are incorporated but you have budget less than 50,000, you can still go for the Youth Opportunities Fund. But Alternative Savings has their community grants. The Metcalf Foundation has their Opportunities Fund. Ontario Trillium Foundation every so often has their opening for grants. They do a seed grant, a capital grant, and I think scale grants. And who else has the Region of Peel? So again, as we find, oh, and Innoweave is an excellent grant as well, where you can get money to hire consultants to create your strategic plan or do your business plan so that you can grow and either start a social enterprise or fine tune your operations. So this one, that's where as you open up the spreadsheet, check through, check the criteria. If it's a fit and it looks overwhelming, definitely reach out to us. If it's a fit and it looks like something that you can handle, please, I encourage you to submit your application and get it in, because that way you'll be able to learn by doing. In the spreadsheet as well, we do talk about other microloans that are out there, like Alterna Savings has one, ACBN has one, which is interesting because we didn't put our own in here. So I'm going to update this with ACBN's microloan, although it is paused at the moment because we did hit our capacity for money being lent out. We are in the process of raising more money. So keep in tune for that, or stay tuned for that. And what else? So yes, the FACE Coalition, Black Opportunity Fund, RBC, CIBC, all of these loan programs, and we're getting better at finding the angel investors and venture capital investors. So you'll see all these angel groups, a great way to get seed capital for your business, and venture capital groups. We're going to be filling this out more to get their contact information so that you know how to approach them to get funding for your business that isn't a loan that you have to pay back. It's an investment with equity so that it's a bit more patient capital. A couple other things, research grants are plentiful, but again, are intense with their applications. So if there's research grants that you see that you could qualify for, I would definitely take a look. And we're trying to fill out more arts focused grants as well. So this is a spreadsheet that is a living document. When you have access to it, bookmark it somewhere, save the link so that you can come back to it and check just to see if something's updated or if there's another type of grant that you want to be going after. All right. And so just to round out, and I do apologize, I know we're coming up on time. Let me just make sure. Cover the final parts of the presentation. All right, let's see. Present. Right, excellent. So again, touching on funding for social enterprises and nonprofits, the funding spreadsheet is better to go through. The Social Finance Fund is in development, so they've awarded funding to intermediaries that are going to start to create their criteria. So look out for organizations that got money from the Social Finance Fund as an intermediary to start to disperse. The FFBC Big Ideas Grant, a lot of us were able to apply for that one. We're waiting for a decision. You may have seen the email come out that said they were overwhelmed, a lot of applications. So that decision got delayed till later in April, maybe early May. And the Ontario Trillium Foundation, we were able to break down the Ontario Trillium Foundation on the spreadsheet. So check out the spreadsheet to see what other types of grants they have, but always go to the website because depending on what time of year it is, different grants are always opening up as we go. And on the spreadsheet, we did talk about different loan programs that are out there. So one thing about loans versus grants, yes, grants are great because you don't have to pay them back, but the time frame for grants is difficult because typically it takes 3 to 6 months for grants to pay out, and also it's not guaranteed. So if you do need in the short term funding to help your business, I would say look at a loan program or a microloan program or a line of credit program like the Black Opportunity Fund. because that way you're able to get the injection of capital quicker. And if you have a strong plan, you should be able to use that money to grow the sales of your company. And then from that increase in sales, pay the loan payments. So in essence, it's similar to free money, but it's money that you have to put to work. And if it works right, then you're able to cover your payments. So don't discount loans. Even though I talk a lot about grants, I still am a believer in loans. And it's a muscle that you should strengthen, because when you get money that you can inject into your business and then you can repay it, then it creates a nice cycle where you can get more money and inject more money in more capital into your business and grow bigger and pay it back, and so on and so on. So I would say don't run away from loans, but I do understand that grants are solid. And just to round out the presentation, we are here for you if you are stuck, if you are overwhelmed, if you already have too much work to do. We do offer grant writing services. So if you do need that support and you would rather, hey, even the research, if it's too much, we can do that research for you. We can do the writing for you to support you on your journey. And just to give an overview, so the Youth Opportunities Fund is going to be this Saturday, April the 13th. It is free to register. So if you're interested or want to learn more about this grant, it's one that we've been successful with a couple times in the past. We're going to be applying for it again. So join us on that journey of application so that we can go through every single question and answer your questions. So that link, I'll try and grab it here. And I'll put that into the chats so you can register and join us on Saturday. Sure, have that properly. You might have to let me know if that link works. It looks a bit busy. And let me see. All right. And then we do have a grant working group for the Jobber Grant. So this one's specific for businesses that are in the home service industry. So you're able to get up to $10,000. We're going to be walking through all the questions. And really the objective is on that Monday to get the grant done. So that one, it is a cost. It's $50 plus tax. We'd love to have you join us if you are a business in the home services, or if you know somebody that has a business that does so pretty much that you go to people's houses and so you could be a plumber, HVAC, electrician, different services that are done around the house. Cleaning, I believe cleaning would be one of them. You can share that. Oh, I'll grab this link and put this into the chat as well. So if anybody is stuck with doing that grant, we're going to be doing that together. And so, as I mentioned, sometimes you don't need us directly to do everything for you, but you do need guidance. So we put together Grant Hunter University. It really takes the funding spreadsheet, our templates, so understanding how to do your budget, your work plan, the story of your grant or of your project for your organization or your business, all of that into a course, and then being able to support you walking through to get it done. And then ongoing, we work with you to say like, hey, these are the grants that are out there. Since you have your blueprint done, it's easier for you to apply. So if you don't need us as your grant writing team, but would like guidance, I believe the Grant Hunter University is a great alternative, a lot less expensive. So for only $297, you're able to now get support with doing your grant. So, and when I say get support, it allows you to do a lot of the heavy lifting up front, because most grants, about 80% of them, ask the same questions. So this course walks you through what those questions are so that you can get them done. That way, any grants that you find, you're able to get it done without starting from scratch. So it's a lot less heavy lifting. To give you an idea of the services, if you do want us to do it for you, depending on your operating budget is where the pricing is for us to be your fund development team. So it can range from as low as $1,500 to over $25,000. again, depending on how large the grant that you're going for, how large or how intense it is, how big your operating budget is, and how much time we're going to dedicate to being your fund development team. But for starters, let me see if on the next page it shows, yeah, the types of grants and what to expect if you just wanted us to write one grant for you. So the hiring grant is about $500 to $1,000. A community grant, same thing, starts at about 500. Provincial and federal grants, that does start about 3,000. Those are more intense and involved. And if you just want us to review it, that ranges between 300 to 1,500, depending on how intense the grant is as well. Right. And so we do have a form that you could fill out if you wanted us to, if you just wanted to have a conversation about what services that we have, or if there's certain grants that you're interested in and wanted to know how we could help, feel free to fill out this form. That way, we'll set up a time with you to have that conversation and then see how best that we can support you on your funding journey. All right. And as I mentioned, we do have the session coming up on Saturday and this next session coming up on April the 22nd. And as we mentioned, Wednesdays, if you know anybody else that could use an overview of what grants are out there, please invite them to our Wednesday grant sessions. Really appreciate you being here. I'm going to stop talking so that you can ask questions. So I apologize for going right up till 2, but I'm here. So if you do have questions, let me just stop the sharing and I'll also stop the recording just so that that can start.